so we're gonna go ahead and get started today. If you're joining this later on IGTV, hello. My name is Jo, and I'm a personal trainer and a mover and a little bit of a yoga lover, and these have been my favorite lately for dealing with my own ankle and foot mobility. Foot mobility isn't, the trendy mobility, definitely isn't the sexy mobility, but if you want to squat deep, if you want to feel great during your runs and hikes and make it feel really effortless, also just like don't have any foot or ankle pain, this stuff is really important. Hello, good morning. So yeah, my ankles are the reason why I got into mobility, my feet and ankles. I was getting really bad reoccurring ankle sprains from all of the cross-country running I was doing, and I wasn't sure how to change it. I wasn't sure if I was running correctly and if that was causing it. I really didn't have any idea what's going on. If you're on here live, let me know if you can hear me so I can continue here. That would be great. Thank you for joining. Hello, Taylor. Hello. Oh, I don't know that person, but also hello. So yeah, I got into mobility because of my ankles. I wasn't able to get down in a low squat. I wasn't able to run comfortably without feeling, this area in the front of the shins. It is not a filter. It is sunscreen. The best kind of filter, right? From the environment. Thank you, though. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Awesome. Thank you, Taylor, for letting me know. Let's go and hop into it. We'll kind of start warming up through the ankles, warming up through the feet. And the only thing that you're going to need today is some bare feet, get you some, and a wall. And I'm going to be using this yoga mat for some comfort, but as always, if you don't have a yoga mat, a carpet works great. And also maybe a pillow to pad the knees when we are on the ground. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop into it. So I'm gonna hopefully angle this a little bit so you can see my feet back here with all the comments going through. So we're gonna start with looking at the feet. Maybe you haven't done any foot mobility ever, so this is a great place to start. I'm gonna start with one foot here, and I'm gonna spread through my toes, and I'm gonna start by spreading them as wide as I can. And then I'm gonna set my pinky, second toe, third toe, whatever, index toe and big toe on the ground. And I'm gonna do the same thing with my other side. Set the pinky, fourth toe, third toe, second toe, first toe. It's okay if they don't all obey right away, right? If you have been wearing shoes for most of your life, which I'm sure you have, if you're most humans, right? These guys, they kind of get a cast on them forever. So they're not really able to sense the environment anymore. We don't really use our feet for much because we're relying on our shoes. So this is the start of some problems we can see that we can start having with the feet and ankles, or just because they're not doing anything anymore. Awesome. Okay, yeah, get you some feet, right? All right, so now we've done a couple rounds starting with the pinky toes down on the ground. Now let's do the big toe. So I'm gonna set, you can try them both at once here too, if that is something that works well for you. So I'm gonna set my big toe, second toe, third toe, last toe, and then I'm gonna do it with the other side. Hopefully you can see here, but it's okay if there's not much going on here. I know for a lot of people, the feet don't move when you say it. So if that is you and you're not seeing any movement going on here, okay, cool, yay! I'm so excited to hear that, Taylor. Thank you. I see you doing all your mobility and calisthenics up there. We often forget the feet, so these are good for everybody. Heck yeah. All right, so if they're not moving too much for you, you can give them a little bit of a help. So I can push my big toe down, I can push my second toe down, and then maybe the body will remember. You can do the same thing with the way up. Sometimes they need help, so I'll hold one down, allow the next one to come up. And just like that, I'm gonna go ahead and do it on the other side. Harder than they look here, so I'm gonna give myself some help. Hold down my second toe, then I'm gonna bring it up. Third toe, fourth toe, last toe. Awesome. So these are called toe pianos here. So after you've gotten a couple of those in, we can go ahead and switch things up. So now we're gonna focus just on the big toe. We've got some movement going on already. So let's see if we can put down all of the toes of your feet beside your big toe and just lift your big toe off the ground. We're gonna hold that for 10. You can help yourself up a little bit for 9, give yourself a little bit extra range for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. And now I want you to put your big toe down and raise all the other toes up. We're going to do that for 10. You can help with your big toe. You can push it down a little bit. 9, often 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Often I give my toes a little help also if I'm in session with somebody. If something's not working for you and you can just lift a little finger and help out with the toe, with the leg, go ahead and do it. Now we're going to go ahead and do the other side. So we're going to drop those toes down. See, this is my bad ankle here. I'll say bad. It's had all the injuries that I was talking about in the beginning, so my toe connection isn't great. So if that's you, you're like me, you are so normal. Think about spreading your toes so that you can get the pinky toes down on the floor, spread through all of them, and then that might be a little bit easier to grip them into the ground. From here, I'm gonna help up my big toe because it's acting like it doesn't remember, and we're gonna hold that for 10, 9, 8, 7, now remember it's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now switch. Push that big toe down. See, I have that one for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome, guys. I've been loving those. If you had a good time with that, go ahead and let me know how that went for you. That can be pretty hit or miss depending on your training, depending on how much time you spend in barefoot shoes, and all of the above. So that's a great thing to keep working on because we just did some big toe extension exercises, and big toe extension is probably involved in all of those cool mobility movements you've seen, like sissy squats or even dropping back into wheel. We have to be able to go up on the toes, have control to use the big toe and send our hips forward like that. So while toe mobility isn't sexy, doing some of those movements eventually is pretty damn cool. It's definitely a part of my goals. All right, so now let's get a little bit more warmed up. For someone, you can hold onto a wall for this next one if the balance is something you're working on, or a chair, or you can try it freestanding. So I'm gonna come up on the toes and I'm gonna lower back down. And we're just gonna do this around 10 times here, starting to wake up the back of the foot, wake up the ankle. Awesome. You can let go. And let's do about 10 of those. I did a run yesterday, so I'm definitely feeling my calves today. I tend to run in barefoot shoes. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about that eventually. But it has taken me a while to get my training there. And now let's roll onto one side of the feet and to the other side of the feet here, taking some turns, rolling onto that knife edge, and we have the inner edge for the other one. Yeah, when I first started getting into footwork and barefoot training, things definitely got a lot more hard for me, a lot more challenging before they got easy. But now that my feet, it's probably been about a year of consistent walking and running in barefoot shoes, I can say for sure now, things are much easier. Oh yeah, you're true. Oh, sorry, hopefully you... All right, hopefully you can hear me. Taylor, thank you so much for that comment. Let me know if you can still hear me. Yeah, for explosive movements, if you think about sprinters, if you think about, sure, jumpers as well, you have to be able to use your toes. That's gonna give you an amazing amount of power. So I didn't even think about that, but exactly. I'm sure that's applicable to your training here. Let me know if you can still hear me. I lost connection there for a second. So we're rolling onto one side and then to the other. Hopefully that's starting to feel good. Nice. And now you can hold on to that wall again, if that's all right. And we're just gonna lift the toes and set them down. You can't hear me? Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you for your comment. So we're gonna lift the toes and we're gonna set them down. So this one's really great for that tibialis anterior. that runs right in front of that shin. If we don't train this muscle, we get shin splints if you run regularly. So I like to add this one into my training as well. Awesome. Okay, so now we got things warmed up. I'd say if you're doing these at home, do around 10 of those each. Let's talk about walking here for a second. Also another not so glamorous part of mobility, but if you don't walk right, you don't run right. If you don't walk right, and you don't run right, and you do it repeatedly, you can start to feel it, right? In your ankles, in your knees, even your hips. So everything we do here probably is going to come up here eventually if we don't solve it, right? If we don't correct some of those things, if we don't mobilize some of those areas, right? So when we walk, I like to think about walking with the big toe. And I'm sure some of you, this is not, this is common sense, and obviously I'm over exaggerating a little bit here. But all that means is that when we start our walk, we're putting that big toe down on the floor, and then we're rolling from front foot to heel. So you can do this even in shoes, because a lot of us, when we wear shoes, see how this guy has a little bit more of a heel going on here. We tend to set the heel down. Well, if we continue to do this when we run, when we walked, then you're going to not necessarily 100% get injury, but you can think if we were to add some, force to this, if we were to add a run to this, we're putting a lot of pressure, a lot of shock all the way up our leg into our knee. That's not how our feet is made to move. Hello, thank you for that comment. So yeah, it's not how things are made to move, so you can start to get some shin splints, you can start to get some knee problems, which was what was happening to me. So heel striking isn't my favorite thing. So if I almost fell back there. So if ever you're barefoot, think about walking and rolling from your toe to the back of your foot. Oftentimes it takes some practice. All right, with all that being said, let's move on to the next mobility movement. So we're gonna come down into a nice little squat stance here, and we're just gonna do some nice low ankle walks. You have an option to roll your foot forward, or you can step the leg also to the front. So you can step, and I'll demonstrate both for you. You can step it to the side. I'm holding on a little bit here, or you can roll the front of the foot forward like so. Works really well on grass, works really well on carpet. I would not recommend doing this on this wood floor or something. Maybe if it's an inside floor. I don't want you to get any sprinkles or anything. Not sprinkles, splinters, excuse me. Sprinkles would be great, right? All right, so we're gonna do a couple of those, rolling from the foot to the ankle, getting some movement done. Awesome, let's do one more lap. I'm just trying to get your heart rate up as well. This is also a great squat warm-up. Nice. And then go ahead and return to standing. So we've gotten a lot of stuff done. Now we've mobilized a good amount through our ankle joints. So let's keep it up. So one of my favorite things to do to check actually how your ankles are is to come up to a wall here. You can have shoes on for this one. It works pretty decent that way. I do recommend being barefoot though. If you can do any foot and ankle work barefoot, it's going to be better, right? Because we're working on the foot and ankles, and the shoes band-aid some of that. You're not having to use your foot musculature a lot when you're walking in very cushioned shoes, and especially the shoes that get away from looking like shoes. So like your Hokas or your ones with that big sole, why they feel great, we're really putting a cast over the foot muscles and not allowing them to move, right? Which can cause some problems. Not always the case though, guys, that it will. But if you're interested in mobility and foot health, then yeah, this is the right place to be. All right, so we're gonna come up next to the wall. I'm gonna face towards the wall. I'm gonna start with my right foot and the toes on the wall. And from here, I'm just gonna bring my knee straight and tap the wall. For some of us here, we have lovely ankle mobility. Having the foot on the wall is not gonna be too challenging. So you can bring it back a little bit and see how that works for you. Keep this heel down. If we're lifting this heel up, we're not doing very much here. It is very easy. So go ahead and move it back to where it feels like a challenging distance for you and do 10. Ideally, we should be able to fit our whole cell phone in here. You see I'm probably a little bit short by a couple inches, but you get the idea. So keep pushing that heel down, keep bringing that knee nice and straight towards the wall. And then I'm gonna go ahead and switch sides. Nice. Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch sides here. Thank you for all the comments today, guys, and the love. Let me know if you don't hear me at any point so I can change things up for you. All right, so we're gonna bring the knee closer to the wall and away. This one's feeling pretty good, so I can begin to step that foot back. You're gonna keep that heel down while you're doing so. This is really that ankle dorsiflexion stretch when we're bringing the knee over the toe, which is challenging for a lot of people, but if we get into a nice low squat, if we have to go downstairs even, the knee comes over the toe. So it's really important to train it, right? Okay, awesome. So we've gotten around 10 of those. Nice. Okay, hello, sorry I'm back. Hopefully you're hearing me okay. So now we're gonna use our foot stretch as well. Press your toes into the back of the wall, into the wall here. We're waking up that area and just breathe into this stretch, guys. This tends to be quite a stretch for a lot of us. Awesome. And then we're gonna go ahead and switch sides. If you're not on a live video like I am now, you can hold a stretch like this for up to 30 seconds. If you are hypermobile and you're not feeling a stretch in your ankle here, it'd be really nice to stick a wedge underneath my foot or a yoga block on an angle. Nice, guys. You can lean closer to the wall to get a little bit more of a stretch. And then I'm gonna go ahead and release. All right, so we're gonna go into another active mobility drill now that our feet, please don't bark. Sorry guys, my dog is out here. Ellie. All right, so I'm gonna come onto the toes, and then we're gonna be coming into a nice squat, staying on the toes through the whole descent. It's kind of a challenge for the balance, so you can hold on to the wall, and then you can lift your toes as high as you can here, and then press into the feet, and come back up to the squat. So we're gonna lower, and then come back up. Really great for that active ankle and foot strength here. Let's do around 10 of these. Nice. And you could do a couple more if you're at home here, but I'm gonna come back up because I don't want to overdo it for today. This is supposed to be my rest day. So 10 of those if you're at home. You can repeat 2 to 3 sets as well. I'd probably start off with around 1 or 2 sets if that's a new movement for you. Okay, the next one, let's stretch out the top of the feet. We just did the back of the foot on the wall, let's do the top. So in the standing position, I want you to tuck your toes under so that the top of the foot rests on the mat here. And then you can start to straighten the knee and hinge your hips behind you if that feels good. Or we can just stay here with the knee nice and bent. Find your comfort zone here. Should feel like a stretch, but it should not feel too painful into the top of the foot. Nice. Couple of last breaths here. The hip hinge and straightening the leg definitely adds a little bit more. And I'm gonna go ahead and switch sides, putting my right foot on the top. So if I don't do this stretch, I find after running, it's been a couple days, I'll get super tight on the top of my foot. My ankle, the front of the ankle will start to feel like it's locking up a bit. So I've been loving these lately. Nice. Couple last seconds here. And then we're gonna go ahead and release. Okay, so hopefully things are feeling a lot warmer for us, so let's come into a wide squat. If a wide squat isn't accessible for you freestanding, we could always do it up on the wall. So you can come down like this, so you're supported here, or you can do it how I'm gonna do it, which is just on my mat. So toes are gonna open out a little bit wider, and then we're gonna sit down into our squat. Sorry, we haven't done a lot of hip mobility here today, so go ahead and use that wall if you need it. And then we're gonna be rocking to one foot, lifting the heel off the ground, and to the other foot. Just trying to get some weight into each ankle here. And also, we're adding in some hip mobility as well. Lovely. Awesome. This is feeling really good for you. Then you can remain where you are, and then think about bringing one knee towards you, and then one knee back in. Getting that side of the foot on the ground as we twist. Also, some into the hip. Nice. And then I'm going to come on and set down. So this is the last one we're going to do today. Let me know if you have any questions. We did a lot of things. This is the one I like to end with because it's going to be the one that if you don't have any time and you're a little bit maybe even sore from running or wherever you're at with your energy levels during the day, this one takes probably 30 seconds on each side and can make a pretty big difference. So you're gonna wrap your hand around the leg, pick up your leg, the other leg can come in so you feel a little bit more supported here. And then we're gonna bring the opposite hand to the shin. From here, you're gonna point the toes across and down and over to the other side and take some nice rolls out with the ankle. And then go ahead and switch directions for me. You might hear some cricks or cracks or crunches. Really normal, as long as things aren't painful. Nothing to be worried about. We're moving our ankle joint through its full range of motion. That it probably hasn't been moved in a long time. So perfectly normal to hear some crunchy noises, as long as they're not uncomfortable or painful. You can continue. If they're super uncomfortable, you can stop. I always like to say that, I'm gonna switch sides now, guys. I want you to, if something is a hell no in your body, listen to your body's hell no. I do not know more than you what's good for your body, right? I am not in your body. So with all of these movements, keep that in mind. And with anything I post for that matter. Whew. This one's definitely a little more crunchy for me today. You might be like that as well. I'm gonna go ahead and switch directions. Awesome. Just cooling things down a little bit. Okay, so we've done a lot of things today. I'm sure there's much more stuff. I know there's more stuff that we could cover, but I think this is a great little feet and ankle intro. Thank you for the people who joined me today and who commented. Thank you so much. Hello. And yeah, I'll be on here again next Monday discussing another topic. Feel free to put in the comments what you want to see for me, what you enjoyed today, and what I mean what you want to see for me is for the next Monday. What topic would you like me to cover? So yeah, I hope you got a nice little introduction into the world of feet and ankle mobility, and even though it's not the most fun to look at, it's not the most fun to perform, I would say is one of the most important areas of mobility that you can do, especially if you're just trying to keep your balance, because a lot of us don't think about that, but when we age, even when we don't age, right, even if we're young, our balance can be still bad because we don't have very strong and supportive feet and ankles, and that's kind of worrisome, right? Protecting ourselves from falls isn't fun, so having strong ankles can keep you balanced well, prevent those falls, and also if you do like to walk, run, or jog, and if you do like to walk, run, or jog, can make it a lot more effortless and can prevent some of those like ouchy knee and ankle pains and shin splints from when we overdo those activities with walking and moving the wrong way. So as we were talking about before with that heel strike instead of rolling with the foot there. And then also if you're really into some fun mobility stuff like drop backs, or as Taylor said on here, jumps or explosivity, the toes are needed. The toes literally allow you to press off the ground, and it feels like you're floating, like you think of when you see those sprinters run, right, on the Olympics or wherever you watch runners. So yeah, hopefully you'll give this one a try. Let me know below. And for more stuff like this and for longer form classes, check out my class schedule for the week where we do stuff like this all the time. All right, guys, thanks for joining.